think we have some new technology that could just do self-driving for standard cars way better than any current approach has worked. And that might not be quite what you meant by like humanoid robots.
Yeah.
But if our AI techniques can like really go drive a car, that's still pretty cool.
Yeah.
Humanoid robots are the dream, obviously. I really care about that. I think we will get there eventually. It's been like a hard mechanical engineering challenge.
That's more the issue?
No, both things are hard. But like, even if we had the perfect brain right now, I don't think we have the body yet. We actually, very early on in OpenAI, we used to work on this robotic hand. And it was hard for all the wrong reasons. Like the thing just broke all the time. The simulator was like a little bit off.
Wow.
But we'll get there.
Yeah.
I think 5 to 10 years we'll have great humanoid robots.
Yeah.
Like amazing. And they'll just like walk down the street, be doing stuff.
Yeah, I mean, you would think that's where a huge amount of step change unlocks, right?
I think that will be one of the moments that not only unlocks a bunch of stuff in the world, I think that will feel the strangest. We get used to a lot of things. We get used to like ChatGPT doing these things that would have sounded like a miracle 5 years ago. But if you walk down the street and it's like half robots, are you going to get used to that one right away? I don't know. Probably you do, but it feels like a big difference.
That's the one that'll feel like there's like a new species taking over us.
Yeah, I think that'll feel, I don't think it'll feel like a new species or that it's taking over, but I think it will feel like the future in a way that ChatGPT still does not. I think also if we can figure out great new computing devices to make, that will feel maybe like the future. But as amazing as ChatGPT is, or these new coding agents, and they are amazing, it's like still stuck in the form factor of the past.
Yeah. It's also stuck in the computer.
Yeah. There's definitely something about that it only can do stuff at a computer, but I don't know, like how much of the economic value in all of the world do you think is like cognitive labor that can be done behind a computer? Like half?
I was going to say a quarter, but maybe half.
I don't know, but some big number.
Yeah. Does stuff get much riskier once we have like super embodied intelligence? Because those things are going to be way stronger than us too.
I don't know about way riskier. I think like the ability to make a bioweapon or like take down a country's whole grid, you can do quite damaging things without physical stuff. It gets riskier in like sillier ways. Like I would be afraid to have a humanoid robot walking around my house that might follow my baby unless I like really, really trusted it. If it's off discovering new science for us, eventually society will figure out how to deal with that, but it may be very slow.
Well, what's funny is if it looked like a co-pilot, you'd kind of still credit the PI at the lab who was using this, 400 IQ agent behind it. So
I think you kind of will, no matter what. Humans are so wired to care about other humans. We need people in the story. We need to talk about like that guy did that thing.
Yeah.
Or like made this decision or made this mistake or had, this whatever.
That's why I was surprised that you don't think if we had like a super accurately embodied robot that we wouldn't start to imprint some of that on that robot.
I think we will find out. I may be wrong. I think we will have more of a relationship than we do now as the thing is more embodied. But I think we are so deeply hardwired to care about other people. And that is going to turn out to be pretty deep in biology. And if it's a robot, no matter how human-like it seems in other ways, you're not going to care that much. That's speculation.
So reasoning was like one of the components of intelligence that like sort of got figured out. Is there like another thread going around like a topic of like agency or like some concept of like self-directedness? Like, is that a thing?
The ability to work on a goal over a very long time with a lot of complicated steps along the way, I think is maybe what you're going for.
Yeah, same thing.
And that is definitely something we're working on.
Yeah. What about the future sort of technical path would you say is now inevitable? And what parts would you say you're still not sure which way it'll break?
I think we will get to extremely smart and capable models, capable of discovering important new ideas, capable of automating huge amounts of work. But then I feel totally confused about what society looks like if that happens. So I'm like most interested in the capabilities questions, but I feel like maybe at this point, more people should be talking about like, how do we make sure society gets the value out of this? I think those questions have somehow become harder and less clear. This is a crazy statement.
Yeah.
That like, we're going to solve the super intelligence, but maybe society still sucks.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't tell.
Doesn't feel right to me, but like,
I can't tell if sometimes with some of these statements that people don't react because they only kind of believe it. And maybe that's part of why, but I agree. I mean, that's what, the history of a lot of this stuff has been. It like gets said, people don't quite believe it, and then it happens, and then people just kind of adjust. So I don't know what to make of all of that either.
I feel like we've been very right on the technical predictions, and then I somehow thought society would feel more different if we actually delivered on them than it does so far.
In the world of artificial intelligence, this is a high-stakes collision between the man who built the future and the one trying to take it back. Elon Musk versus Sam Altman. Two names that helped shape the dawn of AI. Once partners, now rivals. But this isn't some Silicon Valley soap opera. It's a battle for control over the most powerful technology humanity has ever touched. And the way it's unfolding? It might determine who gets to write the rules of our digital future. Elon Musk is suing the company he co-founded, trying to buy it back for nearly $100 billion, and building a competing AI to dismantle everything Sam Altman has done. His message is blunt. If I can't trust you to steer this thing, I'll do it myself. And here's the twist. He might actually pull it off. Because while OpenAI races ahead with closed-door development and investor funding, Musk is making a case for radical transparency, open-source models, and mission-first ethics. If he creates an alternative that's smarter, safer, and more open, it's game over, not just for OpenAI, but for every player in the AI race who thought control was more important than trust. Sam Altman, on the other hand, isn't backing down. He's calm, calculated, and still shaping the narrative. In public interviews, he talks about OpenAI's mission, its nonprofit roots, and the insane cost of scaling AI responsibly. But make no mistake, his posture is defensive. His tone is personal. Because this isn't just business for him, it's betrayal. You're not watching a tech disagreement. You're watching a philosophical war over what AI should be, and who gets to own it. Musk sees Altman as reckless, profit-driven, untrustworthy. Altman sees Musk as a destabilizing force, obsessed with control, using lawsuits as a weapon to stall progress. These are strategic jabs from two people who know exactly how dangerous the other is. This is not a warning, but an actual possibility. Because if his plan works, if he builds a better system, forces regulatory eyes onto OpenAI, or fractures public trust just enough to shift momentum, this entire industry could pivot overnight. But if he fails, then Sam Altman wins by default. And with that win comes unprecedented power. Power over the most transformative technology on Earth, without the one man who helped start it there to keep it in check. So here's the question. Are we witnessing the future of AI, or the beginning of its collapse under ego, lawsuits, and billion-dollar grudges? This is the new frontier. The gloves are off, and the industry's fate hangs on who finishes their vision first.
OpenAI, I mean, you seem somewhat frustrated with them. You were one of the big contributors early on.
The reason I am the reason OpenAI exists.
How much money did you give them?
I'm not sure the exact number, but it's some number on the order of $50 million. Man, fate loves irony, next level.
Do you think Musk's approach then is from a position of insecurity about XAI?
Probably his whole life is from a position of insecurity. I feel for the guy.
You feel for him?
I do, actually. I don't think he's like a happy person. I do feel for him.
Elon Musk is part of an investor group trying to buy OpenAI, the parent company of the popular ChatGPT service. Musk is leading a group of investors who have made a bid to buy OpenAI for nearly $100 billion. But Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI, says there's just one problem.
OpenAI is not for sale. The OpenAI mission is not for sale. Elon tries all sorts of things for a long time. This is this week's episode.
You take it seriously at all? What do you think he's trying to drive at with this?
I think he's probably just trying to slow us down. He obviously is a competitor.
The backstory here is key, right? Musk actually co-founded OpenAI back in 2015, but he has feuded with Sam Altman ever since then over OpenAI's plans to convert from a nonprofit to a for-profit company.
Something is boiling beneath the surface of Silicon Valley. Elon Musk is suing the very company he co-founded. Sam Altman, the man currently running that company, is in the spotlight, answering questions, dodging accusations, and subtly firing back. But this isn't just another tech feud. This is a power struggle over who controls the future of artificial intelligence. Because if Elon Musk gets his way, If he dismantles OpenAI, builds a rival, or reclaims the narrative, it might just flip the script on everything we thought we knew about AI, safety, and control. But if he doesn't, if Altman keeps the wheel and pushes forward without brakes or oversight, then yes, we might really be screwed. This is about how power shifts when the most advanced intelligence ever created lands in human hands, and whether we've put it in the right ones.
One of the other questions, and it is Elon related, is you are now moving towards having a for-profit component part of your business. Right now it's a not-for-profit. And he, as everybody knows, if you read the papers, is suing you over this and many other things. How do you feel? I actually just want to ask you on a very personal level, forgetting about even the merits of the case. As a guy who has spent a lot of time with him and you guys founded this thing together, how do you feel personally today about all this? Just as a human.
Tremendously sad. I grew up with Elon as like a mega hero. I thought what Elon was doing was absolutely incredible for the world. And I'm still, of course, I have different feelings about him now, but I'm still glad he exists. And not just because, no, I mean that genuinely, not just because I think his companies are awesome, which I do think, but because I think he at a time when most of the world was not thinking very ambitiously, he pushed a lot of people, me included, to think much more ambitiously. And I'm grateful is the wrong kind of word, but I'm thankful, I'm positive about that. We started OpenAI together, and then at some point he totally lost faith in OpenAI and decided to go his own way, and that's fine too. But I think of Elon as a builder and someone who, known thing about Elon, he really cares about being the guy. But I think of him as someone that if he's not, that just competes in the market and in technology and whatever else, and doesn't resort to lawfare. And, whatever the stated complaint is, what I believe is he's just he's a competitor and we're doing well. And that's sad to see.
How concerned is Sam Altman about annihilation, do you think?
I think in reality he is not concerned about it. I don't trust OpenAI. I started that company as a non-profit open source.
Yes.
The open in OpenAI, I named the company. Yeah. OpenAI as an open source. And it is now extremely closed source and maximizing profit. I don't understand how you actually go from being an open source nonprofit to a closed source for maximum profit organization.
Let me ask you a different question just about the company. You did start it as a not-for-profit. It was a research outfit originally. Yeah. Now, I think there's a view that it has to shift to be some kind of profit-oriented company.
Well,
does it have to?
First of all, I like to talk about the reason we started as a nonprofit because I think it sort of speaks to the answer too. When we started, we did not have any idea that we were going to be a product company. We also did not know that the amount of capital we needed would turn out to be so huge. If we did know those things, we would have picked a different structure. It's hard to overstate, because it wasn't that long ago on the calendar, but it's hard to overstate how different 2016 was. This was years before we had the research that led to language models. This was 4.5 years before we launched our first product. This was 6.5 years before we launched ChatGPT. All we knew that we wanted to do was do some AI research, and that we thought AGI and superintelligence eventually would be this important thing to the world. And we wanted to somehow do something that would be good. At the time we were working on writing papers, new RL algorithms, new theories, a way to play video games, a robotic hand. And it was not clear that there would ever be a product or revenue stream at all. And it wasn't clear that we were going to need one because it wasn't clear we needed so much money.
Right.
It became clear after GPT-1 and some other work that we were going to need to scale. And we started, and also Elon decided to stop funding us as a nonprofit, and we couldn't get somebody else to do it, that we needed to find a way to make a capped profit. Now, we wanted to keep going with a lot of the things that we think are good about a nonprofit. And so we had this subsidiary capped profit that worked for a while.
We start with a question that cuts straight to the core. How do you feel about Elon Musk suing you? Sam Altman doesn't flinch. But what he gives us isn't a corporate answer. It's something more personal, more conflicted. He talks about idolizing Elon, seeing him as a hero. Not a mentor, not a colleague, a hero. That's worship-level admiration. And when someone you revere becomes your legal opponent, that's grief. But let's step back. Why does this matter? Because it exposes the emotional rot under the surface of OpenAI. A company born from big, idealistic dreams, co-founded by people who believed they could steer the most powerful technology on Earth, fractured into lawsuits and counterclaims. When Sam says Elon lost faith in OpenAI, he makes it sound like a bad breakup. But really, it's the story of two visions diverging. Elon wanted AI to be open source, safe, shared. Sam saw a different path, one that required capital, scaling, and eventually, control. And that control is exactly what Elon is afraid of. Elon's fear isn't new. He's warned for years about AI becoming humanity's last invention, especially if it's wielded by the wrong people. So when he sees Sam leading a company that's both secretive and profitable, he sounds the alarm. I don't trust OpenAI. This is the kind of institutional breakdown that could define the next decade. The very people who were supposed to protect us from runaway AI can't even trust each other. And while they trade jabs in interviews and court filings, the technology keeps evolving, faster, smarter, scarier. So what happens if Elon decides to launch his own AI, built from scratch and engineered to outcompete OpenAI? Well, if he's right, if Sam really can't be trusted, then that move might be the only thing that keeps us from handing the keys to the kingdom over to a single private empire. But if Elon's wrong, then we're in a global arms race of egos, not ethics. And in that kind of race, no one wins.
Meantime, this new chapter in the battle of the tech billionaires, Sam Altman rejecting that $97.4 billion bid by an Elon Musk-led group looking to take control of OpenAI. CNBC's Arjun Karpal caught up with Altman at this AI conference this morning in Paris, which is the locus of pretty much all global attention today. Hey, Arjun.
Hey, good morning, Carl. And look, one of the things and the rationales behind the deal from Elon Musk, which is very important, is he thinks OpenAI has strayed from its goal to create AI that benefits humanity, and that's why he says he's put in his bid. But what does Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI, thinks? This was amongst the questions I put to him. Why do you think Musk is putting a bid in now? Let's listen into what he had to say. Musk bid for OpenAI?
Yeah.
How seriously are you taking it?
Not particularly.
Not particularly. Why do you think he's doing this?
To slow down a competitor.
And Stargate?
What about
the funding?
I'm not the one who tweeted funding secured. I just actually try to show up and, build the thing.
Sam, just a quick one.
What is the end game, Mr. Rome? What is the end game of Elon Musk?
I don't know. Curious.
Yeah.
I think it's to slow down a competitor and try to catch up with his thing, but I don't really know.
Yeah, but you know well, right?
To the degree anybody does, yeah.
Just when you think the rift couldn't get any deeper, Sam throws down a new card, publicly. In a short clip, he's asked how seriously he takes Elon's bid for OpenAI. His response? Not particularly. That sounds casual, but make no mistake, it's strategic. He's not just downplaying Elon, he's exposing him. Altman claims Elon is trying to slow down a competitor, not protect the world, not champion ethics, but stall the progress of a rival he can't keep up with. And then comes the snark. I'm not the one who tweeted funding secured. That's a shot across the bow. A dig at Elon's infamous SEC battle. What this shows is critical. The gloves are off. This is about undermining each other publicly, damaging reputations, and taking the AI race into the mud. And Sam's final word? I don't really know what Elon's endgame is. That's casting doubt. It's Sam planting the idea that maybe Elon doesn't even have a master plan. Just a grudge and a need to stay relevant in a space he helped ignite, but no longer controls. This isn't a chess match, it's a street fight. And at this point, neither side is pretending otherwise.
And in some senses still does kind of work, and in some other senses is like straining the theory of what a nonprofit controlled org can be and the amount of capital we need at this next stage. So we are, and have been for a while, looking at some changes. Nothing is decided. It is, as you can imagine, like very complicated to figure this out. And the board is like hard at work on it. In any configuration, like the nonprofit doesn't go away. Like one thing that the board has looked at, for example, is a PBC that a nonprofit owns a huge chunk of and then figures out how to use that amount of wealth for the purpose of the nonprofit. There's other ideas too.
One of the things I've always been fascinated by is you never took equity in the company.
I think you think about that more than I do.
I'm surprised. You get paid $76,000, I looked.
I believe you.
And that's it. If the company does have one of these moments there's an expectation you will get some equity.
There was much of press about that, and there's been like some investor pressure. It is weird that I didn't get equity.
Did you want it? You didn't want it,
No,
though.
I didn't want it. If I could go back in time, I would have taken it, just some little bit, just to never have to answer this question. And no matter how many times I try to explain to people, like, I have the most interesting, coolest job in the world. This is like my retirement dream way to spend my time after like what was a pretty good career. And people can work on like art projects and not get paid for that, and no one thinks it's weird or whatever. It just does not come across. So I wish I had taken some. I don't imagine I would work any harder or less hard. There would be like, I think, something clearer about the alignment I would have had with investors or whatever else, and it definitely would have been easier to raise money. Like, there are plenty of investors who have not invested because I didn't take equity.
They say, really, that's interesting. They will not invest because you don't have equity.
It's come up a few times, yeah.
So if it's now the company's $157 billion, what do you think is a good number for yourself if it happens?
Again, I think you think about it more. This is my childhood dream job. Like, not every day, like not day to day. I would rather not, like, be beating my head against the wall all the time. But getting to work on AGI and like getting to like sit in the room with the smartest researchers in the world and go on this crazy adventure, like, that is what I always wanted to do. That was like my literal childhood dream. And that is, all of the weirdness aside, I think it should at least be understandable that is worth more to me than any additional money.
Well, but Sam Altman got rich, though, didn't he?
At various points, he's claimed not to be getting rich, but he's claimed many things that were false. And now apparently he's going to get $10 billion of stock or something like that. So I don't trust Sam Altman, and I don't think we want to have the most powerful AI in the world controlled by someone who is not trustworthy. And sorry, I just don't. I mean,
but that seems like a fair concern.
Yeah.
But you don't think, as someone who knows him and has dealt with him, that he is worried about the possibility this could get out of control and hurt people?
He will say those words.
Yeah.
But no.
The next few minutes of the interview drop harder than most people realize. Sam opens up about OpenAI's nonprofit roots, and it's clear they weren't built for scale. In 2016, they weren't chasing a product. They were publishing research, tinkering with algorithms, teaching robotic hands to solve Rubik's Cubes. It was science for science's sake. But then came GPT. Then came scaling. Then came the money. Sam admits, if we knew how much capital we'd need, we would have chosen a different structure. That line hits like a time bomb, because it reframes OpenAI not as a mission-led organization adapting to growth, but as a non-profit that stumbled into capitalism and never looked back. That's where the rot begins. From the outside, OpenAI still talks like a non-profit. They emphasize safety, alignment, and global benefit. But internally, they're bending structures, creating hybrid for-profit caps, exploring public benefit corporations, all to make the numbers work. And here's the catch. If you need that much capital to benefit humanity, maybe you're not building something for humanity anymore. Maybe you're building a business and trying to dress it up like a cause. Then comes the kicker. Sam never took equity. He makes $76,000 a year. To most people, that sounds noble. But to investors, it sounds suspicious. In a world where incentives drive everything, where billions are on the line, refusing to take equity means your motivations become harder to read. Are you a martyr? A puppet? A wild card? Sam says he regrets not taking a little equity. Not for the money, but to shut people up. That's honest. Maybe too honest. Because it shows how badly OpenAI wants to appear principled, even as it gets entangled in capitalism's oldest trap, trust. And then, boom. We return to Elon's voice. I don't trust Sam Altman. He doesn't believe Sam tells the truth. He doesn't believe Sam is worried about AI safety. He doesn't believe the man who helped build OpenAI should be allowed anywhere near the most powerful system on Earth. That's a red flag. Because the moment trust breaks down, not just between co-founders, but between creators and the public, AI ceases to be a tool. It becomes a weapon. And in Elon's eyes, Sam Altman is already pulling the trigger.
All right, right now, a rivalry between big tech billionaires playing out as we speak. We're talking about Elon Musk and OpenAI CEO Sam Altman. Altman firing back after a Musk-led group submitted an unsolicited $97.4 billion bid to take over OpenAI. Take a listen.
Sam, should you have taken Elon's offer?
You refused $1 billion for Elon Musk. What do you want to say to Elon Musk?
Received what from him?
Almost $100 billion, right?
The company is not for sale, neither is the mission. We're happy to buy Twitter if you want to talk about that.
Wow. Okay. Altman made that same message in a post to X saying he'll buy Twitter for just $9.74 billion.
Elon tries all sorts of things for a long time. This is this week's episode.
You take it seriously at all? What do you think he's trying to drive at with this?
I think he's probably just trying to slow us down. He obviously is a competitor. He's working hard and he's raised a lot of money for XAI, and they're trying to compete with us from a technological perspective, from getting the product into the market. And I wish he would just compete by building a better product, but I think there's been a lot of tactics, many lawsuits, all sorts of other crazy stuff, now this. And we'll try to just put our head down and keep working. Does it make it more difficult to move from that non-profit model to that for-profit model for OpenAI? We're not moving to a for-profit model. We're not sure we're going to do it all, but no matter what, the nonprofit will continue to be extremely important. It will drive the mission. It will continue to exist. The board is looking at lots of options about how to best structure for this next phase, but the nonprofit is not changing into anything or going anywhere. I mean, whether they did or didn't, they built a good model. Many people will distill from many other models. Again, I feel so confident about our research roadmap and also our product roadmap that, DeepSeek will do whatever DeepSeek's going to do. Other people do whatever they're going to do. And we're just going to try to build the best technology we can and get it into people's hands. And I think that's mostly going pretty well.
Do you think Musk's approach then is from a position of insecurity about XAI?
Probably his whole life is from a position of insecurity. I feel for the guy.
You feel for him?
I do, actually. I don't think he's a happy person. I do feel for him.
Okay. Do you worry that he has this proximity to the president and that he can influence the decision-making of the US presidency and policies around this agenda on AI?
Not particularly. Maybe I should, but not particularly. I mean, I try to just wake up and think about how we're going to make our technology better.
Sam Altman with Tom McKenzie in Paris. We go to London now. When they walked me in the room and they said, we got a fun thing for you to do. Own YouTube. The first book I read, comment, subscribe, by Mark Bergen, cover to cover, inside YouTube's chaotic rise to world domination. Observing OpenAI in Paris is Bergen in London. Mark, what does Macron want out of this? What do European leaders want out of an AI soiree in Paris?
I think they want, in some ways, what they want people like Sam Altman there. He probably wanted Elon Musk there as well. They want big headline numbers, right? Macron kind of gave his version of the Project Stargate. He said 109 billion euros of investment. If you look at the finer points there's a lot of details yet to be filled in, and some of those are over a massive timeline. But I think they want to be seen as relevant, right? I mean, we had the end of that conversation between Tom and Sam Altman about DeepSeek. It's US. It's China. Europe is left out in those conversations.
Mark, on the subject of DeepSeek, which I imagine is looming large over this gathering in Paris, there was a bit of happy talk there from Sam Altman about the fact that all of these different AI companies building their models are going to learn from each other. But as you and our colleagues have reported here, there is some, shall I say, skepticism about the way in which this Chinese company has fashioned this model. What's the latest on that as we kind of learn more about it and how it was fashioned and indeed how much it costs to do?
Yeah, I actually think they were more candid this week than I expected. We saw Demis Hassabis, who runs DeepMind and Google's AI efforts, basically telling us on TV yesterday, I think the cost that DeepMind, that 6 million figure that they use to train their models, he said it's exaggerated. He basically called BS on it. And we had Chris Lehane, who runs policy for OpenAI, saying that we've been talking with government officials about this possibility that they distilled or use unauthorized access to OpenAI data. Yeah. And so basically built this model right on the shoulders of OpenAI.
Mark, unfair question, but let's finish with this. How does Microsoft arc over this tension of Musk and Altman? What does Microsoft want out of this?
It's a good question. I mean, in some ways, Microsoft's kind of the winner as long as people keep buying their cloud services. And I think, it seems like what Musk has thrown a little bit is a wrench between the close relationship with Microsoft and OpenAI. I believe even since after his lawsuit, they've kind of backed away from that. There's some reporting that they're not as close as they were. But in the long run here, Microsoft wants more companies spending on chips, more companies spending on cloud compute, and I think they're fine to let this lawsuit.
It is the app that is revolutionizing the tech world and beyond. ChatGPT is one of the fastest growing apps on the market. It's AI assistant helping users solve problems both big and small, and leading investors to dream of the wild and lucrative possibilities of artificial intelligence.
They're spending tens of billions of dollars every few months in order to make artificial intelligence really happen and become mainstream.
But its parent company, OpenAI's rapid growth, the subsequent injection of investor cash from several different sources, coupled with co-founder Sam Altman's desire to make the company a for-profit entity, has led his former partner Elon Musk to revolt. Musk has filed a lawsuit to slow or outright block the company's transformation. And now he's taking that feud a step further, offering close to $100 billion to take control of the company. A bid Altman didn't ask for and immediately rejected. No thank you, but we'll buy Twitter for $9.74 billion. A subtle shot at Musk, who bought the social media platform for $44 billion. Musk returned fire, calling Altman Scam Altman and a swindler. Musk's bid to take control of OpenAI comes at the same time he's enjoyed immense influence over the Trump White House.
I've had a great help with Elon Musk, who's been terrific.
But Trump has not been afraid to keep Altman close, hosting him at the White House to announce a $100 billion investment in AI infrastructure across the U.S.
We wouldn't be able to do this without you, Mr. President.
A rivalry that Trump seems to be willing to encourage.
These two men, while they're rivals and big competitors and former business partners, they're also fighting for the affections of the President of the United States.
And in his offer to buy OpenAI, Musk's attorney promises the billionaire will return the company back to its core mission with a pledge to make it open source, nonprofit, and a, quote, safety-focused force for good that it once was.
So here's where we are. One man is building what may become the most advanced artificial intelligence platform in history. The other is trying to stop him. Not with algorithms, but with a lawsuit. And both of them helped create this storm. If Elon Musk makes this happen, if he creates a competing AI that's open, regulated, and accessible, he could flip the AI race on its head and expose just how fragile OpenAI's structure really is. But if he fails? If the lawsuit goes nowhere and OpenAI doubles down on control? Then Sam Altman becomes the de facto steward of the most powerful technology we've ever known. And that means whether or not we trust him, we're all along for the ride. So yeah, we are screwed might not be hyperbole. It might just be the understatement of the year.
So we got the first starships on Mars, gather critical data. The first flights there we'll send with the Optimus robot. So we can go out there and explore and kind of prepare the way for humans. And that'll be a very cool image if we're able to achieve it by launching end of next year. It would actually technically arrive in 2027, but that would be an epic picture to see Optimus walking around on the surface of Mars. This is like an incredible thing to have, like this amazing city on Mars, the first city on another planet, and a new world.
Elon Musk's AI predictions are totally out of this world, literally. While OpenAI is working on ChatGPT-5 and Google's showing off their new AI glasses and smart wearables, Elon is talking about something entirely different. He's talking about Mars, AI-powered rockets, humanoid robots exploring another planet, satellites run by artificial intelligence connecting Earth to Mars in real time. The truth is, the real alien here might actually be Elon Musk. Don't believe it? Watch this.
So we're looking at different locations. The lead candidate right now is the Arcadia region. Mars has a lot of real estate, but when you combine all of the factors and say, okay, we can't be too close to the poles, we need to be near ice, water, and can't be too mountainous for the rockets, then it narrows down to a smaller region. So Arcadia is one of my daughter's name is Arcadia, actually, and is one of the options. So we got the first starships on Mars, gather critical data. So the first flights there we'll send with the Optimus robot, so we can go out there and explore and kind of prepare the way for humans. And that'll be a very cool image if we're able to achieve it by launching end of next year. It would actually technically arrive in 2027, but that would be an epic picture to see Optimus walking around on the surface of Mars. And then with the launching 2 years later, we'd be sending humans. Assuming the first missions are successful and they land successfully, we'd send humans on the next mission, and we'd really start building the infrastructure for Mars. So anyway, maybe just to be safe, we might just do two landing episodes with the Optimus and do the third one with humans. We'll see. So that classic picture of the workers on the Empire State. And then for communications on Mars, we'll be using a version of Starlink to provide internet on Mars. Yeah, so the speed of light, even at moving at the speed of light, your best case scenario is, I guess, running around 3.5 minutes to Mars, and then worst case is 22 minutes or more because Mars is on the other side of the sun from Earth. So anyway, it's quite challenging to do high bandwidth communications with Mars, but Starlink will achieve that. Yeah, and then we'll have the first humans lay the groundwork for permanent presence on the surface. And yeah, the goal, like I said, will be to make Mars self-sustaining as quickly as possible. So it's just a sort of rough idea of what things will be like with the first city on Mars. My guess is we'll probably put the launch pads a little further away, or the landing pads, just in case. But for Mars, we're going to need a lot of solar power. You can't really walk around on the surface of Mars, at least as yet, until Mars is terraformed to be like Earth. You need to walk around with a Mars suit and be initially in kind of like glass domes. But it would work, and eventually we can make Mars into an Earth-like planet. And we want to get to the point where we're transferring over 1 million tons at every Mars transfer window. And then that's like a serious civilization. A megaton per transfer window.
Elon Musk just made it official. The first explorer to walk the surface of Mars won't be a human. It'll be Optimus, the humanoid AI robot Tesla's been developing behind the scenes. According to Musk, SpaceX's massive Starship rocket will carry the Optimus robots to Mars as early as 2026, with the mission aimed at preparing the Martian environment before humans ever set foot there. He even posted about it directly on X, formerly Twitter, marking the first time he publicly connected Tesla's humanoid robot to an actual Mars mission. This isn't speculation anymore. It's part of the plan. And Musk already has a destination picked out, a region on Mars called Arcadia. It's not just any spot, it was chosen strategically. The area has the right elevation, it's near access to ice water, and it's relatively flat, which makes it ideal for landing rockets. It's also symbolic. Elon named his daughter Arcadia. So yeah, this one's personal. Now, I know how this sounds, like science fiction. But this is real. The plan is to send fully uncrewed starships loaded with AI robots to scout terrain, gather scientific data, and even begin testing infrastructure before human arrival. No astronauts, no flag planting ceremony. Just a robot silently walking out onto the surface of Mars. The first life form to do it. That's the first footprint on Mars, and it won't belong to us. It'll belong to a machine. And let's be clear, this isn't just Elon dreaming out loud. He's serious about this. He said that if everything goes to plan, the first Starship carrying Optimus could launch by the end of next year, with actual arrival on Mars sometime in 2027. That's less than 2 years away. Let that sink in. In under 24 months, we could be watching footage of a humanoid AI robot walking across an alien planet. And Elon, being Elon, he's already thinking ahead. He's considering sending multiple Optimus missions before any humans go, just to be cautious. And honestly, that's brilliant. Send the robots first. Let them take the risk. If something fails, we reset and improve. We don't mourn. We iterate. It's the kind of calculated risk that actually increases the odds of long-term success. And here's what really hits me. If that moment actually happens, if the world sees a Tesla-built robot walking around on Mars, captured live on camera, it will be one of the most powerful images of the century. Not because of how futuristic it looks, but because of what it means. It signals a turning point, that for the first time, AI has become the ambassador of Earth. That humanity trusted a machine to take the first step toward colonizing another world. That's not just history, that's legacy. Now that we've got the robot on Mars, how are we going to talk to it? Let's watch what Elon said next.
And we really start building the infrastructure for Mars. So, anyway, maybe just to be safe, we might just do two landing episodes with the Optimus and do the third one with humans. We'll see. So that classic picture of the workers on the Empire State. And then for communications on Mars, we'll be using a version of Starlink to provide internet on Mars. Yeah, so the speed of light, even at moving at the speed of light, your best case scenario is, I guess, running around 3.5 minutes to Mars, and then worst case is 22 minutes or more because Mars is on the other side of the sun from Earth. So anyway, it's quite challenging to do high bandwidth communications with Mars, but Starlink will achieve that. Yeah, and then we'll have the first humans lay the groundwork for permanent presence on the surface. And yeah, the goal, like I said, will be to make Mars self-sustaining as quickly as possible. So it's just a sort of rough idea of what things will be like with the first city on Mars. My guess is we'll probably put the launch pads a little further away, or the landing pads, just in case. But for Mars, we're going to need a lot of solar power. You can't really walk around on the surface of Mars, at least as yet, until Mars is terraformed to be like Earth. You need to walk around with a Mars suit and be initially in kind of like glass domes. But it would work, and eventually we can make Mars into an Earth-like planet. And we want to get to the point where we're transferring over 1 million tons at every Mars transfer window. And then that's like a serious civilization. A megaton per transfer window. So, yeah, I have a lot of spaceports. I mean, because of the fact that you can't fly there continuously and you have to transfer in these windows, you'd have a gathering of 1,000 ships, or 2,000 ships, or more than that. So we have this kind of like Battlestar Galactica feel, where all these ships are in orbit, waiting to depart. I think, an amazing image of all these ships departing at once. And then you're going to need, obviously, a lot of launch pads, a lot of landing pads on Mars. Or you'll need to move the ships off the landing pad pretty fast. If you've got a few thousand ships inbound, probably need at least a few hundred landing pads. Anyway, we'll solve that problem later. So, yeah, this is like an incredible thing to have, like this amazing city on Mars, the first city on another planet, a new world. And it's also an opportunity to, I think, for the Martians to rethink how they want civilization to be. So you can maybe rethink, like, what kind of form of government do you want? What new rules do you want to have? There's a lot of freedom and opportunity in Mars to do a recompile on civilization, which will be up to the Martians. So, all right.
So now that we've got Optimus heading to Mars, there's a major question left to answer. How are we going to stay in contact? Elon's answer? Starlink. but not the same Starlink that's bringing high-speed internet to remote areas of Earth. He's talking about a completely upgraded, AI-enhanced version of Starlink that can handle deep space communication between Earth and Mars. And when you understand the challenge, you realize just how big of a deal this is. Here's the issue. Even if your signal travels at the speed of light, it still takes anywhere from 3.5 to over 20 minutes just to get to Mars, depending on where the two planets are in orbit. That means, if you send a command, it could take nearly 45 minutes round trip just to get a response. That delay makes real-time communication impossible. You can't joystick a robot on Mars from your desk on Earth. Not unless you want to wait half an hour between moves. This is where artificial intelligence becomes absolutely necessary. So while most of the world is focused on AI writing code or generating art, Elon Musk is using it to build a multi-planet civilization. Robots walking on Mars, satellites bridging planets, rockets flying themselves. The future isn't coming, it's already lifting off. What do you think? Will AI be humanity's greatest tool or our biggest gamble? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, hit like and subscribe for more deep dives into the future of tech.